This is the infinite amount of monkeys. Or a monkey with a typewriter and an infinite amount of time would eventually come up with the works of Shakespeare.
It won't happen.
No, listen, Carl, listen. There's no debate. It's true.
Ricky Gervais and Carol Pilkington discuss the thought experiment of the infinite amount of monkeys, or monkeys with an infinite amount of time, that will produce the works of Shakespeare. For Gervais it is a certainty that they would, but Pilkington disagrees.
It won't happen.
Their conflicting beliefs can be used to show how atheists and theists might view the monkey theory differently. Gervais is a well-known public atheist and holds the conviction that the monkey theory is absolutely true.
There's no debate. It's true.
And while Pilkington is not forwarding a theistic argument, he represents the theist belief that there is a creator behind order and meaning, not a thoughtless, random process. Now, while it's conceivable that the works of Shakespeare could happen, theoretically, would it actually happen? Can order and meaning somehow emerge from meaningless chaos, with random characters lining up in non-random linguistic sequences, then developing into words and sentences, and eventually whole storylines will reveal themselves to observers?
It would do it all. It would type everything ever possible, conceivable.
Well, it's just, I just don't think it will happen.
What do you mean you don't think it'll happen? Infinity works it out for you, by definition.
Gervais is outraged at Pilkington's unbelief in the power of infinity, which takes up a godlike position in the upper echelons of the atheist metaphysic. To start with, we have a load of random letters. But if you imagine vast time spans in the millions and billions of years, the story writes itself.
Infinity just sorts it all out for you.
All things are possible with infinity. If it was monkeys with pianos, they would produce the complete works of Mozart. Monkeys with calculators would write out every mathematical formula, known and unknown to man, an infinite amount of times. You simply must believe in this.
It would type the works of Shakespeare an infinite amount of times, and everything else an infinite amount of times.
What is striking, considering the atheist rationalist insistence on only believing empirical observable data, is that they believe in this conceptual story of monkeys writing Shakespeare, despite no empirical observable instances of randomly generated stories. There are random text computer programs working right now, but according to this video, even the chances of the tiny phrase, "I love bananas," being generated is astronomically slim. In a similar vein, the online Babel image project randomly generates every possible colour change of pixels on a screen, which will in theory produce every image you could possibly imagine. But of course, all we get is this TV static-like fuzz. But of course, the evolutionist answer to this is to give it millions of years, then it will happen. Trust me.
Infinity sorts it all out for you, right?
But not Shakespeare.
Oh! Shut up! You idiot! You're an idiot! Play a record,
no,
I'm not having this conversation.
They're not doing it from
I'm not
memory.
having it, because it really, really winds me up.
Gervais is infuriated by Carol's failure to understand it's not about the monkeys remembering things or having knowledge. Monkeys are there to show no thought.
But the
I'd
point
be
is
surprised if they did one page right.
Right, listen. It's not to do with consciousness. It's not to do with them aiming.
They are just bashing away at the keyboard.
It's like they're used to show that there isn't consciousness.
But Carol's apparently idiotic preoccupation with what the monkeys know.
No, I'm just saying, what I don't understand, if it hasn't read it, then how does it know where it's going?
Draws attention to epistemic troubles for the infinite monkey theory. The works of Shakespeare are the works of a mind, and all language proceeds from thought. We know this to be the case, and it has never been shown that language has arisen from non-mind, from random chaotic letters.
It would do it all. It would type everything ever possible, conceivable. Infinity just sorts it all out for you.
So why should Gervais insist it will be the case? Well, because the evolutionary worldview from which this theory comes is based on the premise that the mind itself is a product of random material processes. If you look at the whole span of the evolution narrative, you see that over billions of years, rain pouring on the lifeless planetary rock formed a primeval soup from which greater and greater life forms proceeded. Swimming, then crawling, then standing. One day one of these creatures would write out the entire works of Shakespeare. His name was Shakespeare. And if all that has already happened, then it can happen again, and again, and again.
They do everything an infinite amount of times.
But are they going off a story that they've...
Play a record, Carl, because I'm going to knock you out!
I'm just saying...
Shut up!
Do they know the story?
Oh,
they're monkeys!
Oh, Christ.
No,
Right, okay.
There is such passion over the truth of this because the evolutionists' own existence depends upon the truth of this billion years narrative.
This blows my mind. He doesn't know what this does to me.
Which is, in truth, a supernatural idea. There is no natural evidence that non-mind gives rise to mind. To my mind, this is a more fantastic claim than the theist claim that divine mind created human mind. But if you fast forward the vast creation myth of evolution, stones become sensible, rocks become rational. It would seem ludicrous if you said all that happened in a week, but plug in billions of years and suddenly all things are possible.
Infinity sorts it all out for you, right?
In conclusion then, the monkey theory as an expression of evolutionary thought is a story within a story. The tale of storytelling monkeys is a parable of chaos begetting order within the overarching atheist worldview narrative of something coming from nothing, and that something becoming conscious. After accepting this as foundational, it is easy to accept that randomness will become ordered. Arbitrary letters will form incidental words and accidental stories. Such a deeply held conviction, Gervais wants to throttle anyone who disagrees.
Oh! Shut up, you idiot!
Perhaps he senses the self-defeating nature of an argument from randomness producing stories that uses a bunch of stories that are not randomly produced. To put it another way, it's trying to show that stories do not need a mind by putting their mind to making a story. The tale of the typing monkeys is a story from a mind, as are the works of Shakespeare, and as is the grand narrative of evolution. None of them come from non-mental randomness. Even the essential object within the monkey story, the typewriter, is not randomly generated. It too is the product of a mind. This speaks to a general problem for the materialist who keeps analogizing from ordered creation to prove random generation. With no material evidence, the materialist takes a leap of faith to the immaterial, impersonal, supernatural principle of infinity. A deity infinitely greater than mere mortals, it can only be conceptualized in epic movements, spanning millions and billions of years. Once it is invoked into the typing monkey theory, the materialist abandons his usual insistence on raw observable data and declares there are no boundaries in what can happen. Anything you can imagine can and will happen, an infinite amount of times.
It would do it all. It would type everything ever possible, conceivable. Infinity just sorts it all out for you.
Infinity is the deus ex machina that saves the day for the infinitely tall tale of the monkeys typing out Shakespeare.
Not Shakespeare.
Oh!